In the quiet corridors of history, hidden among the celebrated names of genius and innovation, lies a shocking truth that still resonates today. A truth that suggests the man who lit the world may have lived in the shadows of his own brilliance. Imagine a time when a single spark could ignite a revolution, when a single mind dared to dream beyond what was thought possible. That man was Nikola Tesla, a visionary whose innovations laid the very groundwork for our modern civilization. Yet, he remained largely unrecognized, even as he illuminated the night sky itself. This is a story of brilliance, betrayal, and a legacy that defied the limitations of its time. Born on July 10, 1856, in Smiljan, part of the Austrian Empire, today's Croatia, Tesla was thrust into a world defined by conflicts and contradictions. The third of 5 children, Tesla was marked from an early age by an insatiable curiosity that set him apart from his peers. From the moment he could walk, he was fascinated by the mysteries of nature, the crackle of lightning, the hum of machinery, the beauty and power of electricity. So vivid were these fascinations that they often came alive to him in the form of visions, brilliant flashes of insight, ideas emerging like lightning bolts in the dark. But the world would not allow him to bask in these gifts for long. At just 7 years old, joy turned to sorrow when death claimed his older brother, Dane. Tesla's life was forever altered by the trauma of loss, a moment that ignited a fire within him, a determination to conquer the unseen forces of the universe. This heartbreak birthed an unrelenting drive, a blend of brilliance and despair. As a teenager, he immersed himself in science and literature, devoured the works of Mark Twain, and, inspired by his teachers, began to explore the basics of electricity. He was guided by the belief that someday he would change the world. But destiny had other plans. In his late teens, Tesla enrolled at the Technical University of Graz in Austria. There, he was exposed to the ideas that would crystallize within him like thunderstorms. Yet, he struggled to coexist within an institution that misjudged him. For reasons still debated by historians, perhaps the lingering energy of losing a brother or the societal pressures weighing heavily on a young mind, Tesla left the university without graduating. With a fierce ambition fueling him, he fled to Budapest, where he secured a job with the Central Telegraph Office. It was there, amidst the clattering of telegraph machines and the flow of information, that he began to shine. What followed was nothing short of meteoric. By 1881, Tesla was designing and implementing systems that would lay the foundations for his most iconic inventions. His mind danced with the possibilities of alternating current, electricity transmitted in waves, capable of traveling vast distances with minimal loss. But little did he know, a global battle was brewing over how this new energy source would be harnessed. In the United States, the name Edison's resonated with the force of a tempest. Thomas Edison, the creator of the direct current system, a man whose money and influence dominated the landscape of innovation. In 1884, lured by the allure of American opportunity, Tesla made his way to New York City, armed with little more than a letter of recommendation from a mutual acquaintance. But as this young genius strode into Edison's laboratory, he was unprepared for the ruthless world of invention and profit. At first, Tesla thrived in Edison's workshop, but the tides of fortune would not favor him for long. When presented with a chance to pursue his vision of alternating current, he began to clash with Edison's resistance to change. The differences in their philosophies and approaches to invention ignited a conflict that would burn brightly, a struggle that embodied the very heart of innovation against the inertia of tradition. Tesla's ideas, ahead of their time, were met with skepticism and frustration. "You will be paid $50 if you can improve my machines," Edison taunted. "But if you fail, I will not pay you a cent." It was a test that Tesla passed with flying colors, yet the reward he received was lukewarm respect at best. Disillusioned by his treatment and the cutthroat nature of the industry, Tesla severed ties with Edison, rejecting the notion of being a cog in a greater machine. What happened next shocked the world. In the wake of his departure, Tesla attracted the attention of investors and enthusiasts alike. In 1887, he established his own laboratory in New York and began to develop a groundbreaking system of alternating current. He envisioned a world where electricity could be transmitted over long distances and used in homes and businesses, bringing light where darkness prevailed. With his blueprints in hand, he caught the eye of George Westinghouse, a rival of Edison, who recognized the potential that Tesla's designs possessed. Together, they embarked on a partnership that would ultimately challenge Edison's fiercely protected empire. As the electric wars began, what followed was a tumultuous battle for the future of electricity. The stakes were astonishingly high. The two men stood on the precipice of history, locked in a deadly duel over which electrical system would power the world. A public spectacle unfolded as both men deployed tricks, tactics, and showcases to win the favor of investors, governments, and the public. Edison's company orchestrated a smear campaign against alternating current, promoting the idea that it was too dangerous, even to the extent of conducting public demonstrations where they electrocuted animals with AC to amplify their message. It became known as the War of Currents. But Tesla's brilliance shone through the darkness. Westinghouse and Tesla won crucial contracts to illuminate the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, showcasing their alternating current system to a global audience. Come dusk, the fairground was bathed in a glow that seemed almost magical. The crowd was spellbound by the elegance of innovation brought to life. When the flames of the celebration flickered against the night sky, it signaled an awakening. Tesla was no longer an unknown inventor in the shadows. He was now a beacon of hope, ushering the world into the modern age. Incredibly, Tesla's achievements continued to pile up like a growing mountain of genius. He would go on to invent the Tesla coil, a device famous in its own right, capable of producing high-voltage, low-current electricity. He unlocked the secrets of radio communication long before others even considered it possible. What's more, he revealed the concept of wireless transmission, dreaming of a future where energy would flow freely through the air. The world, however, remained blind to the enormity of his vision, consumed by corporate interests and the frenzy of the era. Yet, with great success comes great resistance. The very inventions that once elevated him began to draw ire from those who feared his brilliance. Faced with financial struggles, Tesla was forced to battle not only with Edison's legacy, but with the boardroom machinations of Westinghouse's company. What had once seemed a powerful alliance began to fracture as the realities of business overtook the nobility of invention. Tesla, always a visionary at heart, found himself swept into a suffocating storm, a battle that would rattle and define him for years to come. By the early 1900s, Tesla reached a dramatic turning point. Once at the forefront of innovation, he veered into obscurity as he sought the funding to pursue his dream of wireless power technology. The Wardenclyffe Tower, an ambitious project intended to broadcast electricity wirelessly around the globe, stood unfinished, marred by the financial collapse of his benefactor, Westinghouse. The tower, a colossal monument to his dreams, was dismantled in 1917, the last fragment of hope within a tightening grasp of despair. As the years went on, Tesla became a relic of the past, a forgotten icon haunted by the specter of unfulfilled potential. Gone were the public accolades, the electric applause of the crowd. Instead, he roamed the dimly lit room of a New York hotel, plagued by poverty, alone in a world he had once illuminated. Few remembered the inventor who had once dared to dream, shunned by the very industry he sought to revolutionize. In his twilight years, he often spoke of the brilliant visions that danced in his mind: flying machines, energy-powered vehicles, and communication devices that could transcend space and time. But now, there was only silence. Tesla passed away on January 7, 1943, isolated in the chaos of New York City. Found dead in his apartment, his obituary barely grazed the headlines. The world would mourn his passing only on the periphery. Remarkably, shortly after his death, the U.S. government declared Tesla's work of significant national importance and cataloged his contributions to avoid other nations stealing his insights. But no one bothered to illuminate his sacrifices, the price he paid being a torchbearer in a world unwilling to see. And yet, through the corridors of history, whispers of his legacy began to take shape. Over the decades that followed, as the world embraced the marvels of the 20th century, the magnitude of Tesla's inventions started to shine again. The tides turned as people began to recognize the genius of the man who had once been overlooked. The advent of the modern age